Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to be unboxing and diving into the eagerly anticipated Dragonbane from Free League Publishing. It's written by Thomas Herrestam, Andreas Markland, and Christer Sundelin, with artwork provided by Johan Egerkrans, Nicholas Brandt, and Anton Vitus. And I apologize, I guarantee I've mispronounced just about all of those names. This box set is arriving in stores on August 3rd. This is a big Gen Con 2023 release for Free League Publishing. This box set is going to carry an MSRP of $49.99. Or you can grab just the PDF alone, which is out now at DriveThruRPG. It's normally $24.99, but the Christmas and July sale is currently taking place. There's a few more days that it's running, so you can actually save a little bit more on that PDF. Also, stay tuned because I will be sharing how you can get into the running to win one of two copies of Dragonbane in PDF that I will be giving away. So without further ado, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Dragonbane. I'm excited to jump into this. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to this. So I'm not going to attempt to pronounce its Swedish name because this is originally a Swedish role-playing game. It's been around for a while. Now, I do believe that this is actually a new edition that's being presented in the English language. It's not simply an old role-playing game being translated into English. Really like the artwork. This actually has quite a bit of an Elric of Melniboné sort of vibe to it. Looks like Elric right there. So before we jump on in, do want to point out the fine folks over at Free League Publishing were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. I'm going to get the shrink wrap off here. And then I will also mention we're not going to look at each and every page inside here. We're not going to look at like every pre-generated character and things like that. But I do want to give you a really good feel for what you're going to find inside this box set. So let's take a look at the back here. And yes, there are duck creatures in Dragonbane, similar to their role in RuneQuest, I guess. So it looks like kind of a duck avenger here. I like that as well. That's pretty cool. So back of the box says, in the oldest times, the world was ruled by dragons and demons. They were the primordial forces through which the world and its primeval matter was formed. They were opposing principles that made the world complete. Law and order versus chaos and madness. Dragons versus demons. Dragonbane is a classic fantasy tabletop role-playing game full of magic, mystery, and adventure. It is designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. Dragonbane is a game with room for laughs at the table while still offering brutal challenges for the adventurers. And it's going to tell us what's in this box set, which we are going to see already. So let's get this open. Really nice box, I will point out. Let's put that over there. Nice, sturdy cardboard. So we've got a couple of decks of cards. We'll be looking at that. Actually, it might be more than a couple of decks. So we've got that. We've got some standees. Oh, look, candy. So these are the bases for standees. Although I will mention the image that's utilized on the back of the box, as well as in some promotional materials, shows miniatures. And I will show you that before we wrap up, we'll take another look. And I thought that was a little strange because I know there are not miniatures in this box. There are standees. So what is this? 10 dice? It's like we've got 10 dice here. So let's see what we've got. I think we've got some custom dice too. I think the 20-siders might be custom. All right, so we've got 4 6-sided dice. We have a 4-sider, 8-sider, 10-sider, and 12-sider. And then we've got 2 20s. And yes, we do have a custom face. Is that our 20? Now we've got the 20 and the 1 both have custom faces. So I'm going to take a guess that the 1 is this kind of demon head, almost like a goat head. And then the 20 is probably the dragon symbol here. So we've got a nice set of dice. These are nice chunky dice. They're certainly not cheapo dice like we see from time to time in some of these starter sets from various companies. Now, these are nice solid dice. We get a games catalog. Flip that out of the way. All right, so we have a sheet that tells us what's in the box. Getting started. Welcome to Dragonbane. If this is your first tabletop role-playing game, congratulations. Role-playing is a unique form of gaming that combines dice rolling with storytelling. This game gives you a set of rules and lets you create your own fantastical stories with your friends. For advice, tools, and inspiration, please visit our website, freeleaguepublishing.com, and so on and so forth. So it tells us about getting started, decide who's going to be the game master. It would be me. I'm the forever GM. So that goes without saying. So we've got creating player characters or using pregens and using the introduction and opening scene in the adventures book and let the game begin. So it's important to keep in mind, this is not a starter set. This is the full-fledged game. So we've got the rule book. I'm going to actually take everything out and put it off to the side. But this box is pretty hefty. There's quite a bit inside this box. So we've got our rule book here. And we will take a peek inside here. Let's kind of scoot that out of the way. So we've got our preface. Sitting by a fireplace in an old house by a lake in the woods as dusk turned to night outside, listening intently to my older brother vividly describing the fierce orcs facing me, grabbing the strange and magical polyhedral dice, getting ready to fight or die. That's the earliest memory I can recollect of playing Drakar Demonar, like I said. And I didn't want to try to pronounce it because I know I butchered it. A game that was synonymous with role-playing games for a generation of Swedish kids. It was the summer of 1985, and little did I know what lasting impact that moment would have on my life. So this is a bit of a preface from Thomas Hernstam. So it looks like a breakdown of the game itself, the players, the game master. I'm sure we've got, what is a role-playing game? I do dig the artwork. It's got a bit of kind of a gritty look to it, but almost a bit of a, I don't want to say cartoonish look, but it's not photorealistic or anything like that. But I actually really do like this style. So we've got your player character. So you can generate your character. So we have kin. So it looks like we've got humans, halflings, dwarves, elves, mallards. Remember those duck folk? And wolfkin. So we've got our humans, our halflings, our dwarves. These are pretty common. The elves, of course, got to have elves. Then we've got the mallards. The origin of the mallards is shrouded in mystery. Some scholars claim that they came from a mighty island realm that was swallowed by the sea thousands of years ago. Others believe them to be the result of a failed magical experiment. Whatever the truth may be, these feathered humanoids are a common sight in the world. They have a knack for trade, and their agitated quacking, agitated quacking, is often an integral part of the soundscape around marketplaces and trade caravans. However, some mallards seek their fortunes as brigands, pirates, or mercenaries. Despite their diminutive size, they are fierce in battle and feared by many for their murderous rage. Then we had the wolfkin. Wolfkin are the untamed fury of the wilds. They may be highly intelligent creatures, and like the elves, they have an unfailing tendency to sink into thought, pondering the mysteries of the universe. But simmering under the surface are ancient hunting instincts and an unquenchable anger over past wrongs committed against wolfkin, wolves, and the wilderness in general. As hunters and pathfinders, they are second to none. But wolfkin can also be found as heavily armed mercenaries or mystics and healers in human settlements. And it looks like we've got uh, some random first names here, just 6. Tells us what their abilities are. So the elves, their ability, inner peace. 2 abilities for the mallard, ill-tempered and webbed feet. Hunting instincts for the wolfkin. The humans have adaptive as their ability. Halflings are hard to catch, and dwarves are unforgiving. Sweet. And we got our professions. So we've got artisans, bards, fighters, hunters, and knights, as well as mages, mariners, merchants, scholars, and thieves. So it looks as if if you want to just randomly roll your character up and leave everything to chance, you certainly can. So we've got our artisans, the bard, the fighter, the hunter. There's the knights, the mage. It's telling us what our key attributes are. We've got the mariner, the merchant, the scholar. That's kind of cool. And the thief. So, good number of professions there. That's cool. So you're looking at age, name, our attributes. We've got strength, constitution, agility, intelligence, willpower, and charisma. Pretty traditional. So what are we looking at here? Rolling 4d6 and dropping the lowest. So we are going to have a range of 3 to 18. Then we got some derived ratings. So we've got movement, damage bonus, hit points is equal to your constitution. Although you can have a heroic ability robust, which can increase that. We have willpower points, which are used for magic, kind of like probably like mana points. Then we've got skills. So we have base chances, which are determined by your attributes. And then it looks like we can train on these. So it says, in addition to your base chances, you start out with a number of train skills, 8, 10, or 12, depending on your age. So we're going to have a base chance, and I guess if we're trained, it's probably going to increase those. Then we have secondary skills. It says, beyond the core skills, there are secondary skills, such as the schools of magic. In this base game, you don't get a base chance in any secondary skills, but future expansions and supplements may modify this. I do believe there's quite a bit on the horizon for Dragonbane because keep in mind, there are decades of supplements that have come out, of course, not in English, but that can be ported over to this new edition. So we've got our heroic abilities. We have weaknesses such as gullible, foolhardy, intolerant, gluttonous, violent. So it looks like, once again, if you want to just randomly determine all this, you can. So there are 20 weaknesses. Talking about heroic abilities as well. So it says you start the game with one heroic ability determined by your profession. I wonder if the weakness is based on if you want to try to take like a second heroic ability, maybe you have to offset that with a weakness, or maybe you have to have a weakness. Right, some quick encumbrance rules talking about experience. Are we looking at experience points with this game? Advancement marks. When you've rolled a dragon or demon when using a skill, tick the checkbox next to that skill. At the end of the game session, the GM asks you the following questions. Did you participate in the game session? Well, I certainly hope you did. Did you explore a new location? Did you defeat one or more dangerous adversaries? Did you overcome an obstacle without using force? Did you give in to your weakness, which I guess is an optional rule? So this appears to be a game where you gain experience by critical successes and critical failures. That's my guess what the demon and the dragon will represent. We've got boons and banes, talking about opposed roles. So here are our core skills: acrobatics, awareness, bartering, beast lore, bluffing, bushcraft, crafting, evade, healing, hunting and fishing, languages, myths and legends, performance, persuasion, writing, seamanship, sleight of hand, sneaking, spot hidden, swimming, and then we have weapon skills. And it tells us what attribute is tied to that, which is going to give you your starting base chance. And we got our heroic abilities: assassin, backstabbing, battle cry, berserker, cat-like, companion, contortionist, defensive, deflect arrow, disguise, double slash, dragon slayer, dual wield, eagle eye, fast footwork, fast healer, fearless, focused, guardian, insight, intuition. Wow, we got quite a lot of these. Iron fist, lone wolf, master spellcaster, treasure hunter, robust, which increases your max hit points by 2. And you can actually select it multiple times. So you will have, as I would take a guess, as your character grows and gains an experience, you'll be able to take on additional heroic abilities. So here we've got combat. So we do have initiative, surprise, melee, combat here. So we do have critical hits. By rolling a dragon when you attack, you score a critical hit. That means that a dragon roll is required to parry. So we do have parries and dodges, it looks like. And with a critical hit, you can roll double the amount of damage. You get to choose one of these. Double damage. Immediately perform a second attack against another enemy as a free action. And then it says armor has no effect against the attack as it finds a gap or weak spot. This effect can only be chosen if the attack deals piercing damage, which I guess is an optional rule. And then we have demons, which, like I said, it looks as if that's a critical failure. So we do have dodging, damage. So let's see. I'm going to take a guess that armor soaks up damage as opposed to armor makes someone more difficult to hit. That's the vibe I'm getting. Death. If your HP reaches 0, you drop to the ground and risk dying. Cannot move or perform any actions except trying to rally. You have a death roll on your turn. In each subsequent round, you must make a death roll. Roll against your con. You can't push the roll, so it looks like we've got pushed rolls as an optional rule, it seems. After 3 successful death rolls, you recover 1d6 hit points. After 3 failed death rolls, you're taking a dirt nap. I'm liking this. It looks like it's got enough depth to keep more experienced players involved, but without being overly complex. Improvise weapons, riding animals, casting spells. Let's jump back here. So here's our magic. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Some call magic a gift from the dragons, others a curse from the demons, and still others call it the blessing of the gods or spirits. And it is true that dragons, demons, gods, and spirits influence magic and can guide the mage who wields it. But the reality is that magic is a basic force of nature that exists throughout the physical world as well as beyond it. Gods and demons, dragons and spirits, they are all equally dependent on magic. So we've got some schools of magic. So we've got animism, elementalism, mentalism, and general magic, which is not a school, but a collection of general spells. Looks like we have got spell slots or prepared spells. Says spells are complicated, and the maximum number of spells you can hold prepared in your memory at the same time is equal to your base chance for intelligence. When you've reached your limit, want to prepare another spell, you need to replace a spell. To prepare spells, you need to study them in a grimoire. This takes a shift of time, regardless of the number of spells. So that must be a shift of time, must be a term for the time element involved, like rounds and turns, things like that. You can only prepare spells that you have learned and mark your prepared spells with an X on your character sheets. Okay. So let's see. Talking about learning magic. Magical mishaps, always like that. So these general spells, yes. Okay, so we've got general spells. Looks like we've got ranks of spells. Might have some prerequisites as well. Talking about your requirements, casting time, the range, and duration. So kind of similar in style to, say, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and so forth. So we've got our, how many general spells? We've got 6 there. So that's 7. So animism has 2. 12? Nope, sorry, 13. Elementalism has, it says it has magic tricks too. So they seem like they might be like almost like cantrips. So you have 7, 9, 10, 11. Oh, got more. So it looked like 16 there. And then mentalism, we've got, there's 3 there. That's 11. 13. Not too bad. About 50 spells. And of course, once again, I'm guaranteeing you that we will have more spells in the future. So we've got our gear. So here we've got armor and helmets, and it's showing us our armor rating. I'm going to take a guess that that armor rating is probably subtracted from your damage. And once again, that optional piercing weapon rule, if you get a critical hit, you can choose to ignore the armor rating. So it looks like this is all gear and equipment. And we got our bestiary. So monsters are rated by their ferocity, their size, movement, their attacks, their skills, their resistances, as well as fear and persuasion. It's got the demon, dragon, ghost, giant spider. And it looks like we get images for each of these. Harpy, manticore, skeleton. Keep in mind, I am skipping pages here. The Troll. I think this is the same artist who does much of the art for Wasson, which I like. I think that's a cool game as well. And then we've got discussion about adventures, journeys, mishaps on journeys, food. You get the game master's role, which seems to just be a small portion of the rules here. NPCs, creating adventures. And that's what's going to wrap us up with campaigns at the end. And we get an index. So that is the rule book. Next, we've got the adventure book, which is about as long, it seems, as the rule book itself. Now, keep in mind, these are adventures in here. So if you are a player hoping that your game master is going to pick up Dragonbane, I probably recommend you tune out now because you don't want any surprises ruined. Granted, I'm going to skip pages. I know nothing about what's in this book, but we are going to see some things which might end up being spoilers. So let's take a peek here. So we've got our opening scene, outskirt journeys. So adventures, looks like we have 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, what am I thinking? 9, 11. Okay. So each of those chapters are an adventure. So with our introduction here, it says, welcome to the adventure book for Dragonbane. On these pages, you'll find no fewer than 11 complete adventures, which together form the epic campaign, The Secret of the Dragon Emperor. Except for the Isle of Mist, which is the campaign finale, the adventures can be played in any order, and you do not even need to play all of them. Each can be played as a standalone adventure if that is what you prefer. All right, so, oh, cool. We get a map. The Haunted Marshes, Mirror Lake, the Iron Forest. Get a bit of history here. Our current situation. So, of course, this is all game master facing here. It's giving us a bunch of background. So we've got our opening scene. The Drakar Pass is a narrow passage through the Kumar Mountains. The ancient but still discernible road makes it an important route for adventurers, settlers, and others seeking their fortune in the Misty Vale. However, the influx of travelers has also attracted brigands and the occasional beast to the mountain pass. So our situation here, just kind of taking a quick peek, see what the hook is for the players. So it just says when the adventure begins, the player character has been traveling for days through the high and rugged Kumar Mountains, trying to find a way down to the Misty Vale. So there's, it was giving us the situation here. So I'm just kind of flipping on through here. Oh, that's cool. You know, a little map of the town. It's like we get some NPC information and some stat blocks. The Crypt of Durban. Oh, looks like if somebody gets that sword there, they receive a heroic ability. This does give me a little bit of an old school vibe. Not a huge amount, but I would think that this is probably a game that's going to appeal to fans like myself of the old school Renaissance, although it is not an old school Renaissance sort of rule set. Temple of the Purple Flame. it looks as if we might have some additional creatures and such that may not have been included in that bestiary. Because I saw we had some cultists that were showing up there. Now, granted, I may have skipped past that in that bestiary section of the rule book. Deadeye's Cave. Interesting. This book is around, I'm going to take a guess, around 100 pages or so. Because right now we're on page 85, taking a peek here. This is presented very, very nicely. But then again, it's Free League Publishing. We've come to expect really, really top notch production value from just about everything that comes out from Free League Publishing. It's sort of a given that you're going to be impressed with the look of Free League Publishing release. Yeah, looks like we've got a little dungeon delving going on. Not huge mega dungeons or anything like that, but looks like we've got some dungeons tossed in. So it appears that we clock in at 116 pages as well as an index. So that is the adventures book. Now we also have a little booklet for playing solo, which I would think would work very nicely as far as introducing yourself to the game. So your heroic ability is Army of One. When fighting alone, draw 2 initiative cards. Keep both. Get to attack in both those phases, I guess, or steps. So we've got solo tools, surviving solo play. It's like we get a little solo adventure. Exploration tables. Nice. Yeah, another mission. I guess they're calling it a mission there. So we get some solitaire rules for Dragonbane. Right. Looks like we've got some maps and maybe some encounter maps as well. So here is a map that we saw in the book because there's that Mirror Lake, the Iron Forest, Haunted Marshes. This is the Misty Vale. And nice paper quality. It is treated as well. Kickstarter backers. Yep. That's kind of cool. All of the top Kickstarter backers are listed on the back of that map. So it looks like this is a combat map here. So it looks like on this side, we've got interior, dungeon. And then we have here, this is outside. We've got some pregens. Grab these. So we've got Bastin Bloodjaw. So as you can see, the character sheet isn't like 5 pages long or anything like that. So here we've got our skills. So to kind of give you an idea, so acrobatics is agility. So it's showing a 12. And the agility is 14. So that's probably a trained skill, right? Because as we saw, you're going to have a number of trained skills based on the age of your character. Armor, helmet, weapons, other gear. A memento, blue bottle of perfume. All right. Abilities and spells go here. So this is a strength 18. They get some nice bonuses for combat. Then we have Krisana the Bold. Looks like they're a halfling. So I'm going to take a guess that we're going to have each of the kin represented by a pre-generated character. So hard to catch, backstabbing. Then we got willpower points and our hit points here as well. Does that say tiny items? Yes, it says tiny items. I'm going to take a guess. The tiny items don't count towards your encumbrance. Then we have Macandur of Half Bay, one of the mallards. Ill-tempered, webbed feet, and guardian. One of their abilities is ill-tempered. Well, I guess it's showing they're the same abilities as on the front, but it's giving you a definition, explanation of what they are. And he uses a battle axe, short sword, and small shield. We have Orla Moon Silver, who is an elven hunter. I'm going to take a guess. Yes, they are. Their profession is a hunter. Then we've got Archmaster Odon. There we go. We've got our mage. We've got our mage character here. See what they've got as far as their abilities and spells. So they're humans, so they're adaptive. Fireball, pillar, gust of wind, hunt. Oh, I'm sorry. Heat. I thought it said hunt. Heat / chill, puff of smoke. That must be just one of those kind of cantrip. And ignite. And they utilize a staff. I'll take a wild guess and say that we may have the same kind of like weapons restriction for mages as we do in most traditional fantasy role-playing games, where they can't use swords and maces and things like that. Then it looks like we've got a handful of blank character sheets in full color, dual-sided. It's like there's no difference between the two sides. And we've got 5 of those. We also have the standees. So it looks like these are going to be the monsters that we're going to have the characters face in that campaign. And they are dual-sided, but they are not front back. So it's just the front or side view. So we actually have 2 punch boards of that. There's Giant Spider, yes. Nice. All right, so finally, let's take a look to see what we have in these decks of cards. So we have a treasured deck. I see that. Ooh. Unfortunately, these cards are smacked up in the corner here. Well, hopefully these, I wouldn't think you're handing these out randomly. I would think that these are just players get to keep that in their possession. But yeah, quite a few of these cards are dinged up, which, yeah, is a review copy. That's fine. I don't have any issue with that. A lot of times, publishers will send, uh, review copies which have little dings and dents, and that's okay. It's all right. Okay, so we've got improvised weapons, and then we've got our initiative. So I'm going to take a guess that we're going to randomly just kind of shuffle the initiative cards out and deal them, or do the characters and NPCs agility scores matter here? So 1 through 10. So it says the number above describes the turn order. Draw a new initiative card each round. Okay, there we go. So there's the answer to my question. On your turn, you can move and perform one action. Flip this card when you've performed your action. Okay, so we've got that. So improvised weapons, boiling cauldron, wine bottle. These must all be from the adventures. Torch, bats. Make a bushcraft roll to agitate the bats and make them attack an enemy within 10 meters. Boulder. Make an acrobatics roll to jump up on the boulder and throw yourself at an enemy within 2 meters. A viper. Patch of dirt. Throw dirt in the eyes of an enemy within 10 meters. Okay, and then we've got the treasure here. So we've got gold coins, copper coins, silver coins. Looks like it's all coinage. So these might actually be random because it's saying D6 gold coins, D6 silver coins, 2D6 times 10 silver coins. So that is a possibility there. All right, so then we've got that other deck of cards. Looks like we've got more treasure cards here because I can see gold cards on the back. Come on. So we've got some adventure cards. Then we get into treasure, and I think it's all treasure here on out. So let's see. Do we have any like weapons? Oh, yeah. Okay. We get some silver bracelet, gold bracelets, silver brooch, arranged weapon, poisoned dagger, a grimoire. Roll 1d4 for the school. Roll 1d4 minus 1 for the spell rank. 0 means magic tricks. And d4 for the number. The GM chooses or randomly picks the spells, I guess. A book, instrument, trade goods. So I would think that anything that's kind of a special magic item might not actually have a card. Because these seem like you're randomly determining something. Like a melee weapon says roll d6. Hand axe, scimitar, morning star, parrying dagger, light warhammer, or a flail. Okay, so let's see what we've got with the adventure. Rat. Bothild's Load. Temple of the Purple Flame. So these are tied into those adventures in the adventure book. The Village of the Day Before. Isle of Mist. So it just looks like it's providing kind of like a read aloud to introduce that adventure. Okay. We've got the rat. Oh, the rat is a treasure. Okay. Oh, so I guess we could have treasure cards that are negative in effect. Okay, so we've got the various different decks of cards. And then, of course, last, we had those bases for standees. Looks like there's maybe 10 in there. So let's put everything back together. So we have the 2 punch boards of standees. We have 5 blank character sheets. We had, was it 5 pregens? Yes, 5 pregens. We've got the double-sided encounter map. We've got the map of the Misty Vale, the solo rules, the adventure book, as well as the rule book, 10 dice, the decks of cards, and the stand. Oh, almost forgot a little introduction page. So let's not forget that. And then we got the standees. And that is what we find when we take everything outside the box of Dragonbane. Now, I do also want to show you there's an additional set of dice that's available. This carries an MSRP of $19.99. Just looks like it's a standard set of 6 dice, but they are that translucent green, transparent green. Then we also have a Game Master screen, which was sent along. And we'll take a look at this. If I can find where I put a little slit in there we go. And the shrink wrap. Now, the Game Master screen, all right, come on. Carries an MSRP of $24.99. So we'll take a quick peek here. It looks like it's utilizing the artwork from the cover of the box. It is landscape style. There we go. So it is, yes, it is the dragon from the cover. So let's see what we've got here. So we've got typical NPCs and skills, initiative for NPCs, 0 hit points for NPCs. So you're not making any death rolls with NPCs. When they hit 0, they're dead. Talking about attributes for NPCs as well. Different actions that are available. So actions in combat: dash, melee attack, ranged attack, parry, dodge, pick up an item, equip or unequip armor or helmet. I would think it would take quite a bit more time to equip armor than, a single round. So you have first aid, rally, break down door, pick lock, use an item, activate an ability, cast a spell. You can help another character, which is going to give them a bonus to their roll, or rest and recover, it looks like D6 willpower points. And we got measuring time. So we've got rounds, stretches, and shifts. So a round is 10 seconds, stretch is 15 minutes, a shift is 6 hours. So it looks like you can only rest and recover once per shift. Talking about free actions, we got demon roll in melee, demon roll in ranged combat. So those are your mishaps. The fear table, leaving the adventure site. And then we also have Pathfinder mishaps. So that is what we find on the Game Master screen. All right. So that is Dragonbane from Free League Publishing. I will have a review of Dragonbane in the very, very near future. Now, as I mentioned previously, I am going to be giving away 2 copies of Dragonbane in PDF. Super easy to get into the running. So there are 3 steps. Number 1, be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel. That's easy. Number 2, please give this video a thumbs up. Now, I can't tell if you do or you don't, but please do that. And then third, in the comment section, tell me one aspect of Dragonbane that caught your interest. And I will choose 2 lucky viewers who comment, and I will reveal those winners, the PDFs, during my review video. So be sure to get into the running. Once again, this box set is arriving on August 3rd. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49.99. Right now, you can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG. It's normally $24.99. But currently, the Christmas in July sale is going on, so you can save a little bit on that PDF for the next few days. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like the video, even if you don't get into the running for the contest, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but some people don't, you could still give the video a thumbs up or subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, because, of course, if you do subscribe, you'll be notified not only when I upload videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news, as well as first looks at games. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for even more tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a ton of other goodies as well. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch the video. And until I see you next time, here's hoping you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.